Hello and welcome to Art Laughs. I'm Verity Babs and today I spoke to Alexis Coward. Today I'm here with Alexis Coward. Alexis, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alexis. I am a comic writer and an actor.
And you have picked an illustration for us today.
So I've picked Felix Gerard's illustrations. In particular, it's one that I call The Storyteller, but I don't know that that's the official title of it.
And you mentioned just before we started recording that you have a couple of Gerard's pieces.
So we have also the beautiful one with the tree and the tent, which is like an autumny one. I think it's a little bit apocalyptic, if that's the right word. It's a little bit climate changey. I think that's why I chose it. And they just really reminded us of Montreal, which is where we bought the paintings.
Because he is a Canadian artist, and how did you first come across his work?
So we were in Montreal with a friend of ours, traveling and doing a bit of sightseeing and doing things and going places. And in the gay village, there was a little street art market on. There were all these different exhibitions in cafes and random shops and things like that. And then out on the road, they had people out selling their work. Mm-hmm. And he happened to be there that day. And what I really liked as well is if you look at the illustrations, quite a lot of the male characters in his illustrations have this sort of choppy, dark hair, and he looks like that. And I just quite liked that as well.
You mentioned with this other print that I'll flash up on the screen of this slightly post-apocalyptic thing, and there's a similar vibe with this one. This is the first time I've come across his work, and with this illustration, I think this poetic idea of, stories can lead us anywhere, and reading is a source of power and joy. But actually, this seems pretty bleak.
Some of them do look quite dark, don't they? I think there's something, I don't know, almost nice though about that image. Not nice that I'm looking forward to climate change destroying everything, but nice that it's it's another vision of the world. It lulls you into that sort of false sense of beauty of things carrying on, and I guess they will, when and if humans destroy their time on Earth, the world will carry on, and animals and plants will carry on and take it back, which is kind of nice, I think.
It's interesting thinking about this choice in context to your work, and as a writer and as a performer, is the written word something that has always been like really, really significant to you in terms of to choose a visual artwork that references written art?
So I'm dyslexic, and so for a long time I hated to read, and it was just filled with spelling tests and Jack and Jill books that you just had arguments with your parents about, and being made to do something that you didn't enjoy. And then I had a very amazing English teacher who said to me one day that it didn't matter whether I read every single word on the page, as long as I was enjoying it. That was all that mattered. That was the purpose of reading. And just having an adult say that to me made me go, oh wow, okay. Actually, it doesn't matter if I read the word wrong or I read it backwards or repeat the same paragraph again or something. It's just for me. And then I read a lot, whether it's what the writer's written down, I don't know. But I read quite a lot, and sort of that opened up a lot of creativity in terms of writing it. And I wrote plays and working on a novel, and I find stories and disappearing into your imagination, like the guy in the picture. He's walking down that road of writing and words, and he's disappearing off into the distance. And I sort of feel like that sometimes when you get lost in that book and you sort of look up and realise it's not what's happening around you.
I so wanted to be able to do that thing. Did you see in that live Adele performance where she's talking about her English teacher, and it's like, they're here today. I've got them here. But that's so lovely. And it's also quite interesting that then in terms of, you know, your personal difficulties with reading, that this image of stories being able to take you wherever they want to go, but also it's not without its difficulties, this image of engaging with words, right?
Yeah. And I think also the collection that we've sort of put together, and particularly this one, all of those colours are very similar as well, so it's quite difficult in a way to see the detail of it, to see the individual parts of it, because it is kind of washed in this orange colour, which is lovely, but it does make it at first you have to look in a bit closer at what it is. And I think sometimes a lot of art is like that, and a lot of written word is like that. But that's, I can always make the joke about Shakespeare. I've never understood why people don't like Shakespeare, because to me it's a levelling field, because that's as difficult as English language can get, but that's just every English language to me. It doesn't no more difficult than reading something not written in Shakespearean English. So I feel like his representation of the world with these sort of quite stark colours, making things look almost the same, is kind of nice. It's a poetic image of, you know, you have to look in a bit deeper and look past the bit that's difficult and see the other parts. Shakespeare is
an example of this kind of great leveller, or having this potential to be a great leveller. And I always think about that particularly in context with abstract art, which has that, you know, you look at it at first and you think, I don't know what the right answer is to this. But then once you realise there's not a right answer, and that you're just allowed to enjoy it, and like you with reading, you know, it doesn't really matter whether you know exactly what Kandinsky was trying to get at, as long as you're having a good time, as long as that's speaking to you, that's sort of the point. Whereas, yeah, like with Shakespeare or with artworks, and maybe you do have to lean a bit further forwards into once you push past that kind of initial anxiety, actually, it is a great leveler, and it is a great way of people being able to share experience.
Definitely. I think there's nothing wrong with being the person in the museum or the art gallery or the library or whatever, just enjoying it. I think we got to the point where everything's psychoanalyzed, and we look for a deeper meaning in every single thing, and there is. My sister's an artist; she's a sculptor, and I know that how much research goes into that sort of work. But actually, it's okay to be the person to just look at it and think, oh, it's nice, I like it, and not have the answer to, like you said, the answer to what it means. Not to read every single word on the page, maybe.
Your sister is an artist, and you mentioned this sort of collection of prints that you've got. Is art and engaging in the art world and galleries something that you've grown up with, or is that a relatively new thing for you? Do you think in a different way to how your sister thinks?
That's a really interesting question. I think we definitely do, all of us, because we're all very different, which I find that as an intriguing thing when you meet siblings and they're so different, but they've had the same upbringing.
Yeah,
presumably, we guess. But we went to galleries and museums and things like that as a family when we were young, because I think it's just somewhere easy that my parents could take four kids, and there's a lot of us, and go somewhere and do something, and they would always answer questions or find the answer for you if they couldn't answer them. It was always something that they encouraged, was to look at things, and we grew up with lots of prints on the wall. We had lots of Degas, lots of Monet all over and lots of different works around us. She's also called Verity, just to confuse things.
Shout out.
Artistic Verity as well. I think she's very much more physically engaged with the world, and I think you see that in her sculpture and in her work, whereas my brother and I, who write, I think we look at language, and we listen to language a lot more, and you hear certain words and pick up on detail in a different way.
I do find that thing with siblings so interesting because I'm an only child, so the whole thing is so alien to me. Like the idea that your mum is also your sister's mum, really weird. Like I can't get on board with that. I've tried. I just can't work that out. But that is so interesting when you when you look at siblings and you go, but how has that, you know, that quality slipped through the net with this child, but with this other child, this is sort of like a massive foundation of who they are. One of your siblings is a scientist.
Yes.
That there is still that idea with all of you that there is this sort of inquisitiveness, which sort of does tie us back to the artwork, because there's this element of delving
and exploration. I think all of us in our chosen fields, and they're all very different, are always looking and always exploring and finding. And so Georgia is a marine biologist, and she's been part of, I'm going to get this wrong now, but she's been part of teams that have discovered really big bits of coral which have been recorded, and she loves that sort of physical engagement with the world. And my mum always says that, you know, as children, the most annoying thing of all of us growing up was, but why, which was the follow-up question to anything that was ever said to us. But why? I don't know. I think that sort of ties through in all of the different things that we do in my writing and my brother's writing and my sister's artwork. And my sister, with what she does within the science world, is always looking for something.
Alexis, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today. Where is the best place for people to keep up with what you're doing? And is there anything you want to plug?
Cool, thank you. So I am on all the social medias at Alexis Coward, and from there you'll find a link to my much too long website, but you can go and find all my gigs on there as well. It would be great to see some people, and also there's links to my plays on there.
Thank you so much for watching. You can follow Alexis in the ways written below. As per usual, you can follow me at VerityBabsArt on Instagram. Please do give us a like and a share and a subscribe, and I will see you next time.